afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is that you are tuning in. This is Unapologetically Me, featuring me. No special guest, just me. So we're going to be talking about the Britney Spears, Jaime Lynn whole big drama debacle that's going on right now. And just my opinion on it. So they've been everywhere. So I'm not going to sit here and pretend you guys haven't heard anything, or I'm not going to talk to you guys like you haven't heard anything. So if you haven't heard anything, I mean, you might want to watch something else first, but if you pretty much know the gist of it, I think I'll be giving enough information. So first of all, Britney Spears, this past year, she finally was able to be released from this evil conservatorship that she was part of, all thanks to an incident that happened back in 2007. So if you don't already know where this conservatorship came from or where it got put into place, it was back in 2007 when she notoriously shaved her head in front of the paparazzi. This drove everyone to start just questioning her sanity and her mental state. And to be honest, I think it was more of a rebellion type thing. I think regardless of the conservatorship not being in place yet, everything she did was controlled. Everything she did was watched. And I kind of think it was a big, like, fuck you, you can't control everything I do. Like, check this out. Huh? How you gonna stop me now? Now I shaved my fucking head. How do you like that? And then she took that umbrella and everything. So this actually caused her family to put her in to have a mental health evaluation. And in that mental health evaluation, it was found that they wanted to put her into some help. They actually classified her as greatly disabled, completely against her will. And because they classified her as greatly disabled, that meant she was unable to take care of her finances, her health, her legal thing, anything. So this is how her father was actually granted a temporary conservatorship. Now, this was not supposed to be permanent, and yet it went on for decades. And I think it's going on its 14th year, and we can say that even though the conservatorship has ended after 13 years, it's still going because her estate is still being controlled. So she has a lawyer working for her on this. That lawyer's name is Matthew Rosengard, and he at first seemed to be doing a good job. I don't know what's going on now. Looking at some of the court transcripts, I feel like he's just giving in. I don't know if that's her, but she said a lot to that judge. And I listened to the audio of that the other day, and I mean, she wants her dad put in jail. She wants people sued. Like, she's that angry and upset, as she should be. She had it really put into her head that she could not get out of this conservatorship. And, to hear Jaime Lynn talk so loosely in the interview that she recently did about how basically she could have gotten out of it at any time. And Jaime also says that she gave her many, contacts to help her get out of the situation. But you have to understand that in Britney's mind, she had been looked at for so long as this crazy person that couldn't manage her own life that she was afraid to say anything. She was afraid to say, this is what's going on, and also you have to understand that with the conservatorship, she had zero access to her own money. She had zero access to hire an attorney. She had zero access to her own health care. She had no say in anything that went on in her life. And in my opinion, then her dad, she signs that thing, the contract to be a resident in Las Vegas. At the same time, she's doing X Factor. At the same time, she puts out a perfume. She's able to mentally handle all of this, yet she still has no control over any of the income that she got from any of it. And so this made a lot of her fans start to be like, you know what, enough is enough. And this is where people started to notice even more than they already had, that she was being held captive, basically. So in 2008, she does an MTV documentary. It was to promote her tour circus. And in that documentary, she actually did say she let some stuff slip a little bit. And one of the things that she says was, if I wasn't under so much restraint as I am now, with the lawyers and the doctors and people analyzing me every single day, like, things would be different. And she didn't really finish that thought. So, at least not in the clip that I saw. But, you know, she started to say stuff, but she was always very, very careful what she said. Because, like I said, she had no access to money. If she was or anyone came after her, she had no way to defend herself, legally or otherwise. In 2009, a lot of her fans band together. They formed the Free Britney movement. And they started really paying attention to everything. They were paying attention to her Instagram posts. They were paying attention to her Twitter. They were paying attention to everything for any type of sign that she was asking for help, even though she really couldn't say anything. So she said some things that happened after she signed the contract for the residency. And some of the things that she said to the judge when she was filing to get rid of this conservatorship was that she was put on a very, very strong drug called lithium. Now, she had been taking medication. She openly admitted she's been taking medication for years, and that she took that medication regularly. There was never an issue with her taking her medication, she says. When they decided to put her on this lithium, though, this lithium is a very, very strong drug. I don't know much about it, but coming from someone who has depression and anxiety, and I have tried a few, drugs like that, lithium was one that I was never going to allow them to put me on. However, like I said, she had no say in her health care. So she was forced to take this, and it made her feel, she says, drunk. Like, she couldn't think. She couldn't have a conversation. She just felt just like blah, like a zombie. And this was forced down her throat. And she said she had 6 nurses that would come in throughout the day and make her take this medication. She says for a whole month, she couldn't leave her home because obviously she can't drive in that state. So he made it to where she couldn't go anywhere. She couldn't do anything. She had so much going on. She was made to work 7 days a week from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Not getting paid, because again, her money is not going to her, it's going to her father. She likened this, or she compared this type of work that she was doing to sex trafficking or sex slavery, whereas she was watched 24/7. Her dad even had 24/7 bodyguards and security outside, so she couldn't leave. She couldn't even leave to get her own medicine when she was sick, like things like that. Like, she literally had no control over anything. When she would shower, when she would get undressed, someone would be watching her. And this went on for all of this time. And, so basically she's working like a dog, not getting any type of break from it. She's working against her will. She's working when she's sick. She's working. She cannot say no. And she's being watched constantly. And she's seeing zero money from any of it. She says she felt like she was dead. She felt like she couldn't say anything. Nobody would listen to her anyway. And this is, it's so sad because, coming from, I'm her age. So I grew up watching her. I remember the Delia's catalog. I don't know if any of you are my age, if you remember the Delia's catalog that would come in the mail. And I remember when I saw Britney Spears on the front cover of it. And I was just like, what? Who's this? Whatever. And then I started listening to, Hit Me Baby One More Time came out, and, with the skirts and I was dressing like that and everything. Like, she just took America by storm, and she just owned it, So it's so sad to think that during all of this time, when I was idolizing her, and I just thought she had like the best life. Like, who didn't want to be Britney Spears? And it's like she was tortured and tormented by the people that were supposed to love her and protect her. So much was taken from her. And to think that she worked this hard and all of her greatness, it's like she couldn't even enjoy it. She couldn't even enjoy what she had built for herself. And, you know, it's sad. So the Free Britney movement started really analyzing things I was saying before. And they started looking at these things. So they would start to ask her questions, saying things like, you know, if you need help, wear yellow. Or if you need help, show us flowers. Or the very next post she would post was her wearing a yellow top holding flowers. There was even one where someone said, check out what's written on her hat, or look at her hat, or something like that. And she was doing a thing where she was holding a white hat, and like fedora hat, and her fingers pointing at some wording. And, you know, she's moving the hat around, but if you zoom in on it, it says help. So they were taking this as she was asking for help. So they started doing marches in the streets, and a lot of celebrities joined in on this as well. Jason Alexander, also her ex-husband, joined in on this and said, you know, obviously I'm here to support Britney, but I also agree with a lot of things that the Free Britney movement is saying. And he's someone who was married to her, so he saw firsthand things that were going on. But, you know, now the conservatorship is over. Now she can speak, and she is definitely using her voice now, and good for her, because my goodness, I cannot imagine. I just can't imagine. I can't imagine living her life and it looking the way that they wanted it to look, but really this girl is feeling dead inside and unable to enjoy anything that she's doing. And being forced to do things she doesn't even want to do, and then not even getting the money from it. And then, you know, now she's speaking. Now she's out. Now she's talking, you know, and now her sister goes and puts out this book. So this book is titled Things I Should Have Said. And from what I've gathered doing some research, is that this actually, the title of this book was supposed to be one of Britney Spears' song titles. So, I mean, she couldn't even think of her own freaking title at the beginning. I mean, she, you know, but yet she'll sit here and say that it has nothing to do with Britney. This is all about me. And I think she is finding her voice. Unfortunately, she's piggybacking off of Britney's voice right now, and that is fucked up. And, you know, she wrote in her book, Britney was erratic, paranoid, spiraling. She wrote that she grabbed a knife and locked them both in a room together, saying that she was scared, and like how much this scared Jamie Lynn at the time, but yet she was afraid to say anything. A lot of the things that she says when asked in her interviews, most of the things that are coming out of her mouth are basically like, nobody ever heard me, nobody ever cared about me. You know what? You know, and it seems like she is now speaking out because she too wasn't able to say anything for so long. So I don't think she feels like she's piggybacking off of Britney right now, but she definitely is. I don't think she believes that she is, because she believes that she has a voice too, and if Britney's going to be talking, so is she. And I really feel like this is not the time. If you wanted to do something like this, then you should have waited for sure, because you didn't put it out before and you're putting it out now. And I understand, I think what she said was, Britney is now speaking publicly, which makes me feel okay to speak publicly as well, because I didn't want to speak publicly before because she wasn't. So she kind of took it as an open door, saying like, well, if Britney's going to start airing out all the dirty laundry, then I'm going to jump in on it too. But, girl, is not the time for you, you know, and that's the problem. And that's, I think Jamie Lynn Spears has a ton of resentment towards her sister Britney. I believe she loves her. She says she was like a second mom to her, but, and I believe she loves her. She loves her sister, but I also believe she really resents her sister and the fact that the family was always so much about Britney and not a lot about Jamie Lynn. She talks about how when she got pregnant at 16 and her family just pretty much wanted that to just go away. They were in the midst of, a lot of Britney's stuff, and they just didn't want to deal with Jamie Lynn's drama. It was almost like, oh, great, and now you go and do this. Like, we're going to send you somewhere, you go handle that, because we can't deal with that right now. So they sent her, off to be somewhere, privately. And she said she felt very alone and, very alienated. And I mean, I understand all of that. But, sweetie, you're not doing yourself any favors right now. And then, she says a lot of things about when she was on Zoe 101. And now they're talking to Alexis, who was on Zoe 101 with her. And she's saying none of this shit that Jamie Lynn's writing about even happened. So what can we believe from this book? Because it sounds like she perceived things one way, but it's not the way that other people perceived it. So Britney actually slams her sister for this book. She says, "You've stooped to a whole new level of low. I've never been around you with a knife." She even called Jamie Lynn scum. What to say? What do we say? Sisters, sibling rivalry, on a whole nother level, But I think Jamie Lynn was wrong for this. I watched a channel called Observe, where he kind of looks at body language and, to see if someone's telling the truth, to see, if they're genuine and things like that. And he did. I didn't even finish watching it yet, but because I wasn't really going to go into it, I was just going to say you should check out his channel. It's called Observe. And he said a couple interesting things that I didn't notice, because a lot of people have kind of tried to analyze her body language during these interviews, and, her face doesn't move. It's like frozen, like she's had a lot of, Botox or something, to where, and did she do this on purpose so that you couldn't tell her emotions if she was talking? Who knows? But it's I don't know what's going to come of this. Part of me wants to buy the book because I actually would like to read it, but at the same time, I don't want to promote this. I don't agree with it. I think it is terrible timing. And I'm not sure. I kind of feel like it was done deliberately to kind of be like, all right, well, I've been quiet for so long. Now I'm going to talk. And I'm going to air out some of your dirty laundry in the process. And I don't think that that's something that a sister would do. When you're sitting here claiming how much you love your sister and how much you support your sister. Yet at the same time, she says she never understood the conservatorship. She never understood what it was or what it did. And then she said that at one point, Britney came up to her and asked her something about taking care of the boys. Should anything happen to her? And Jamie Lynn thought, well, yeah, that's what sisters do. But she didn't realize that it was part of this conservatorship thing. Yet, she got, money for her. There was, I'm trying to look without stopping things, but she was actually, hold on, I'm trying to find it. Well, basically, I think a lot of people are saying she's being like an attention whore here. She's trying to grab all the spotlight from Britney. And I think that it's not necessarily that she's trying to take any spotlight from Britney. I think she wants to be in the spotlight too. Like, hello, all these years, I've been in the background. Nobody's been listening to me. Nobody gives two shits about me. Not even my own family. I'm talking too. Listen to me too. I think that she's really trying to release her life experiences to the world. And, to say that she was a Spears too. She grew up in that type of environment too. And not only that, she was trying to help her sister. Oh, and even now, like, Britney says all these things. My family profited off of me for all these years. My family, my family, my family. This includes Jamie Lynn. And I think, in a way, Jamie Lynn feels a little bit backstabbed by Britney. You know, like, I tried to help you. Like, I was your sister. I was there for you. I tried to do everything that I could. And if it wasn't good enough, then I'm sorry. But I tried to help you. I tried to be there for you. I tried to be your number one supporter. And, you know, and now you're sitting here and grouping me in to like dad, you know? And dad, who's this alcoholic jerk that, you know, stole from you all these years when I didn't even know what a conservatorship was. I mean, they are 10 years apart. However, she's 30 now. So for a long time, she's known. I mean, she was 20, you know, 19, something like that. She said that she was just so wrapped up in her own shit that she really didn't notice. But, you know, or, you know, not care, but she didn't know what it was. She never tried to find out what it was. She was wrapped up in her own life. That was also not so wonderful. So, you know, I think anger and resentment motivated her to come out with this book. I think there's a lot that we don't know that is privately being thrown into Britney's face by Jamie Lynn. For instance, she's doing it in the home of one of Britney's enemies, and she's wearing a suit very much like that woman. And I'll put her name in because I don't remember. It's Lou something. I'm like skipping out because my dog's between my legs right now, like trying to hog my heater, and it's really making me lose focus. So I'm going to end this video now. But feel free to comment and anything. I just wanted to say something about it. Like I said, I love Britney Spears since forever. And she was like one of those that was like, at the age that I really liked her, it was like, oh my gosh, you like Britney. But the girl, we can't deny, she's a fucking legend. She is. And it really kind of takes away from things, because imagine what she would be if she wasn't in this conservatorship. Her dad kept her sick and looking crazy for all of these years. You know, and only the Free Britney movement really knew what was going on. You know, like I said, I'm a fan, but I wasn't that much of a fan to where I looked at every every tweet she did, or any Instagram post, or anything. I wasn't that much of a fan. But if there was an article about her, I would read it. If there was something on TV about her, I would watch it, you know. But it didn't talk about things like that. And so a lot of us had no idea. So anyway, that's all I have to say. Like, subscribe. We'll see what I have next for you guys.